from the Holy Gospel according to Mark.
Glory to you, Lord.
Jesus and his disciples set out to the villages of Caesarea Philippi. Along the way, he asked his disciples, "Who do people say that I am?" They said in reply, "John the Baptist, others Elijah, still others one of the prophets." And he asked them, "But who do you say that I am?" Peter said to him in reply, "You are the Christ." Then he warned them not to tell anyone about him. He began to teach them that the Son of Man must suffer greatly and be rejected by the elders, the chief priests, and the scribes, and be killed, and rise after 3 days. He spoke this openly. Then Peter took him aside and began to rebuke him. At this he turned around and, looking at his disciples, rebuked Peter and said, "Get behind me, Satan. You are not thinking as God does, but as human beings do." He summoned the crowd with his disciples and said to them, "Whoever wishes to come after me must deny himself, take up his cross, and follow me. Whoever wishes to save his life will lose it. But whoever loses his life for my sake and that of the gospel will save it." The gospel of the Lord. One of the characteristics of fallen people who are sinners, as which we all are, is that we think of ourselves first. It's our default mindset. How does this affect me? In today's gospel, Jesus calls Peter and his disciples beyond that mentality. To think with God means to take up one's cross and be willing to make sacrifices for Jesus and for the gospel. In the end, it's not about us. It's about Jesus Christ and, as his disciples, serving the Master by doing God's will. Today's gospel is a watershed moment in the Gospel of Mark. Up to this point, Jesus was revealing himself by signs and wonders, as well as by teaching, but through parables. Jesus questioned his disciples, "Who do people say that the Son of Man is?" John the Baptist, Elijah, someone else. "Who do you say that I am?" Peter answered correctly. He knew that Jesus was the Christ, the Messiah, the Savior of the world. Jesus went on to describe what would happen to the Messiah, that he would be rejected by the religious authorities and be killed, and after 3 days rise. St. Mark gives us a little bit of commentary on it. Simply, he spoke this openly. It was no longer in parables now. God's plan is just going to be laid out there. He spoke it openly. This is it. Peter rebuked Jesus. Why did he try to strongly correct him? Well, perhaps it was because he had a different understanding of what the Messiah was supposed to be. Perhaps he felt being close to the Messiah, after they got him, they're going to come after us. Whatever, he was probably thinking of himself first. Jesus responded to Peter's attempt at correction by rebuking Peter and correcting his worldly thinking. For Jesus, life was not about avoiding suffering, maintaining the status quo, or anything like that. It's about fulfilling God's plan, a plan of love that meant the Father would give his Son for us rebels. Difficult as that would be, that's what Jesus was about. He's not going to think as the world does, but as his heavenly Father would. And so today, I ask you to ask God for the grace, courageously pray for the grace to think with God, to think in a loving and sacrificial manner beyond our self-seeking manners. For the church leaders, it may mean facing the sins of its priests and bishops squarely. It's not about protecting institutions or people. it's about healing the wounded, doing what is good and just. For all of us, it means facing our weaknesses in the light of Jesus Christ and in the teaching of the church. Putting on the mind of Christ, thinking with God, means we seek to face the truth about ourselves and God. The truth of ourselves may lead to a season of pain, but the truth of God's light and love and mercy will bring freedom and healing to those who think with the Lord. Amen.
Amen.
There's no good segue in this, so I'm going to give the finance report. Hang on to God's word, though. That's it. So in today's bulletin, there is the annual parish finance report. I'm deeply grateful and edified by your support of our parish over the last year. Your sacrificial giving enables us as a parish to celebrate the sacraments, educate our youth, help the needy, and proclaim Jesus Christ to our community. Major capital improvements of this year include the new driveway out to Root Road. I knew it was completed a year ago, but it fell into the fiscal calendar year of 2017-2018. We also put some canopies over our school and our west side of the church, which I think served us well in the winter and will continue to serve us. I'm grateful for the Knights of Columbus who assisted in inspiring the putting up of those canopies, as well as helping pay for them, as well as our St. Peter PTU also helped pay for them. The school also received a major upgrade in that it received a heating air conditioning system for the southern wing of the school, which has served us well in September. Since this improvement took place after June 30th, it will fall into next year's report. St. Peter Parish transitioned its maintenance team into a property management company called KPM. I think they're doing a good job. They're still learning the ropes, the rhythm of landscape and grass cutting, but they're getting there. We are looking at two relatively major capital improvements in this current fiscal year. First is to replace our parish truck, which is 24 years old. We've owned it for 16 of those years. Since the truck is used both in the cemetery and as a snowplow vehicle, we will be purchasing a 4x4 truck that has dumping capabilities. This kind of vehicle costs over $50,000. The funding for the truck will come from both the cemetery fund and our parish funds. And I'll be requesting Bishop Perez to authorize this purchase relatively soon. We're going to be piggybacking on with the Catholic Cemeteries Association in Cleveland, who's purchasing 3 similar trucks. And so we'll get a fourth and at the same price. Second major capital improvement, and actually will fall into probably next year's fiscal year, 2019-2020, will be finishing the air conditioning of the school, and I'm hoping that we can do that. We're going to evaluate that later in the year. The project we did this year was $98,000. The next project will probably be a little bit more than that, because we would be air conditioning 2 floors of the school. This year the school has 188 students plus 18 preschool, pre-K, which brings us up to 206 students. That's a drop of 10 students from last year. With fewer students in the school and a similar number of faculty and staff, as well as many parents requesting tuition assistance, the amount of the subsidy provided by the parish will increase this year. I'm counting on your generosity and sacrifice to assist in meeting this shortfall. If a lot of us make a moderate increase in our giving, that will make a big difference. The more we can do as a community, the impact we make is multiplied. The St. Peter Educational Endowment Fund is at just over $40,000. As you take your retirement distribution, some of them which can be taxed, I ask you to think about giving some of that to our educational endowment fund, which if you make a direct contribution for a taxable IRA or other taxable forms of retirement into the endowment fund, you'll get a break on your taxes. I also encourage you to, as you make your estate plans, to keep our parish in mind, in particular the St. Peter Educational Endowment Fund. Your gifts to this fund will benefit generations of Catholics at St. Peter Parish School and through our St. Peter Parish PSR program. Finally, I encourage your continued support for our parish. Please remember, just as your expenses increase due to inflation, so do the expenses at our parish. I pray that as we grow in being disciples of Jesus, we can grow in generosity towards St. Peter Parish and other worthwhile charities. Your gifts and donations will please the Lord and benefit His people. Our parish vision, which we have a wonderful flyer about our parish vision, kind of the last of three that'll be in our parish this week. This is the refrigerator version. You can put it up there, we'll stay there. So look at it, figure out what we're about. Our final line of our vision is members will worship together, grow spiritually, serve others, build community, and give cheerfully. Hallelujah. Give cheerfully. God loves a cheerful giver, as St. Paul tells us. So, again, I'm grateful for your support of our parish. If there's any way that our staff, myself and our staff, can assist you, please do not hesitate to contact us. Thank you.